We have another expert we want to hear from on this election night. Political reporter Josh Albertus joins us now with John Truscott. Josh?
Thanks, Julia. As you mentioned, yes, I am joined by John Truscott, CEO of Truscott Rossman, a PR public relations firm. Thank you for taking time. We appreciate it very much. A large theme in a lot of what we're talking about tonight, we've mentioned it several times already, is this sort of back and forth between establishment and anti-establishment, that big wave coming that's been around there. Where did that really come from? I mean, what's your take on the groundswell of this anti-establishment efforts?
There is a frustration and anger among the voters that we haven't seen anything quite like this in quite a long time. Part of it's societal, part of it's just things going on across the country. It's the cost of goods, it's cost of gas, although I saw it down the street here on the way in at 370, so that's going the right direction. But people are just frustrated, and they're taking it out on their elected leaders, and they're saying, show me more, do better, and you have to give me a reason to support you.
And amidst all of this, I mean, these have been very bitter primaries that could leave the winners battered in the general, but voters could also be, tired. Things are going a mile a minute. I mean, what do you say to folks about why it may be important to stay engaged despite the fact that we're going so fast and there's so much to these primaries?
There is so much information flying around, and if you look at let's just use the Senate primary, Democratic primary as an example. El Sayed has run a very non-traditional campaign, much more digital focus, a faster pace. I think Stevens has run a much more traditional campaign. That's her base. That's who she was going for. And the money that was supporting her, I don't think was very effective. It was the same message over and over again that El Sayed is disrespectful to women. There was really nothing else there. What are your other arguments? So as you look at the two campaigns, El Sayed had a lot of different messages, rapid fire, very digitally focused. Stevens was very traditional. And I think if Republicans are to win, they better learn to start talking like El Sayed and match him with the number of issues, the type of issues, and the way people are communicated with, because he did a really good job reaching out to young people.
Well, you mentioned the word traditional. I mean, we would know that you served under Governor Engler as press secretary a few decades ago. I mean, how has campaigning as a whole appeared to have changed since you were in the thralls of it, if you were?
When I was doing it, we still faxed with the paper that kind of rolled up, and you take it to the printer and run it off. So it was a lot different. The internet was still fairly new as far as emails and things like that. So we are light years ahead of when I was doing it. But I still think there's an element, people want to know and trust their candidate. That's something that the Mike Rogers campaign has done really well. They've been out knocking on doors while all this has been going on the Democratic side. They have hit hundreds and hundreds of thousands of doors. I still think that has an effect. If you can talk to somebody, talk to a candidate or somebody who represents them, it has a lasting impression. And you're less likely to believe all the nastiness that gets thrown back and forth. So I do think there's an element where the old school shoe leather still matters, meeting people, being in communities, building that trust. But you have to, with the digital side, add that in. This is going to be a very heavy year as far as TV ads, digital ads, and things like that. I think it's going to be the most expensive race in Michigan history, and we'll see who can master it. And
you mentioned something very interesting. I mean, the attention around this race has centered around the Democratic primary. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, former Congressman Rogers hasn't had a primary opponent that he's had to get bruised. And I mean, I think it's not something that we could contest, but I mean, in your view as a whole, what is the advantage of not having a primary as opposed to what we have clearly seen in other primaries, regardless of party here in Michigan, that have been very active?
Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't get beat up. Your negatives don't go up. So you're starting in a much more positive position, and you have your organization in place and ready to go. I am betting they're ready to spring into action tomorrow, and we're going to see a lot of things unleashed. There was an interesting AI digital ad, or it was a post that came out the other day and playing on the movie The Odyssey, and it had El Sayed in a Trojan horse. And so expect that theme to continue, kind of the wolf in sheep's clothing, the Trojan horse sneaking in, and then it had communism at the end. I still think we need to define or redefine what communism and socialism is so people can really understand it. But they have, I think, the digital chops to match what El Sayed is doing. So watch out. This could be a campaign like we've never seen before.
And Governor Engler himself, I mean, has engaged in efforts to kind of encourage people essentially to tone down the temperature of our politics, especially as we've seen in these kinds of primaries, what's transpired here. I mean, do you feel that that needs to happen in our elections personally? Do you feel that way? And if so, how do you convince people to do it?
I personally absolutely do. I don't think it's probably very realistic to expect that. Political cycles are nasty by nature. They always have been, and I think now this cycle is probably going to be the nastiest we've seen. You know, I like it when people can debate and differ on issues and tell why and back it up. We haven't seen a lot of that in the different races that are out there right now. It's a little more name calling, a little more just throwing bombs, but we'll see. I think this is going to be a race where both on the gubernatorial and the Senate, debates are going to be really important. People are they want to see authentically who the candidate is, what they're about, not just what they're seeing on TV or on social media. So that first debate for each race, I think, will be absolutely crucial, and a lot of decisions will be made on that first debate.
Do you think people have had the chance to see candidates in that way up until this point, or has the noise kind of drowned that out?
I think it's been too noisy. I think the gubernatorial race maybe a little bit more because we have people who jumped out in front. They've stayed out in front, so they haven't had to really mix it up and get really nasty. The Senate race is a whole different ballgame. But again, when you see an authentic candidate, and Mike Rogers has been doing this, talking to the camera. I saw an appearance that he did the other day where they were recording him talking. He was at the Coast Guard Festival, actually, talking to a cadet there about honoring service and how it was going to be a great experience for him, even though he was an Army guy. That was authentic. It was real, and it showed who he was. El Sayed has been flashy. He's been kind of rowdy, noisy, and that has really ginned up the younger vote. They like that. He's connecting with them in a way. So we'll see what happens next, because I think you're going to have two very good, very aggressive candidates with probably the most watched Senate race in the entire country.
Any other predictions you feel like you'd want to share with our viewers as to either tonight or just down the road? I mean, what is it you've been in this arena for many, many years. I mean, what are you seeing in terms of things you expect?
I'm coming into this saying this is the future of the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. Which way are they going to go? Are they going to settle in and be more traditional? Or are they going to continue going left and in the Bernie Sanders type wing? So that's really important to know what's going on. Does the Democratic establishment take back control? Don't know what's going to happen there. And so that's why this is so important, because it really is the future of the country and the way we're going. It's who controls the U.S. Senate. One interesting thing is there's a dissatisfaction with Trump at a certain level that you would say in a midterm election, the Democrats sweep everything. There might be enough people afraid of what El Sayed will bring that they actually take a look at staying home or going for Republicans or crossing over back and forth. Michigan's a big crossover type state. Not as many straight party ticket voters as in other states. We tend to just say, hey, we're going to vote for the person. So do people take a new look because of what's going on at the Democratic Party? That'll be a key thing to watch.
Gotcha. John Truscott, thank you very much. Appreciate your time very much. And as